But hey, we was talking about the civilizations the other day, and
Yeah.
Trevor had brought something up to me. What was that?
Mhm.
You got your notes right over there because he said something to me and
Yeah.
it made me wonder, and this is why I brought up these two things that because I have some of I have one of Plato's books up that I want to talk about, and then of course we got the map of the Antarctica up right now too.
All right. Well, what I was reading basically, through a number of different sources, what the to me all the commonalities, that you have to view a civilization as a network. Consider it like an example, like a computer board. All the little nodes, they work in they coerce together. They work together in unison. But the the what the excerpt on this, the article said, a population of intelligent creatures on any planet or galaxy by definition forms a network. Okay, because if you weren't to have a network, especially on a computer, it would be nothing but chaos. So if there's no interaction, then there's no network. Everything has to work in unison. But if you break it down into like social, or just regular people, you would have to go with psychology, sociology, and biology just to break them all down.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I hit on that a little bit when I was talking about getting that meta view, and like if we wanted to classify a civilization, technically all we had to do was zoom out and look at the world, and we can classify that as a civilization itself. So I mean, that's kind of what you were describing with that synopsis is what you know. If you want to try to describe a civilization, it's literally, like you said, anything that's a network of a living biology be considered
Hmm.
a civilization of ants, a civilization of aliens. It technically could be.
But see that, but that's why I said earlier, or the other day is Margaret Mead when she talked about the broken femur, But even other animal species uh do take care of sick, don't they? Like I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like a lion will lick its cub's wounds, and the antibodies in the mother lion's mouth actually help to stimulate antibacterial properties in the cub. So that's a form of not only nurturing but natural bonding from parent to child. So I mean, there is that almost, you could say it's instinctual, but I mean, some mother lions have been known to eat their cubs as well.
Not only that, not only
Is
that,
it
but
just
look
a
at
rarity
Hindu
in nature?
civilizations.
Because like I think all humans have that capability, but do all animals have that capability, or is it really just kind of a one-off, like a very very intelligent or emotionally um, evolved in particular cat that does this? I'm using that as one example, and then devolved. It eats its cub.
Yeah, yeah, but you also look at the Hindus and look India. The elephant, the mother elephant will do anything for her cub. So yeah, you,
Yeah,
if
well, same
that
thing.
cub is hurt, that mother, she's going to do anything to protect that baby.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. Huh.
No, it's just it's just crazy because we are considered animals. I mean, and
We're the most
Yeah.
dangerous one.
The basic description of us are is we are a living organism, and then the next step up from that is we're an animal, and then we start going further and further down the chops of species and genome, and to
it's just crazy
It's the
because
most dangerous one because a lot of the times it's stupidity is attached to it.
yeah.
yeah, that's I mean
Mm.
that's the problem. We have a lot of great minds and great people in the middle, but Man, there sure is a big chunk of idiots at the back.
Yeah,
A very small
can't
portion
fix
of
stupid.
intelligent, smart people at the front. You know what I mean? It's like an arrow. You have the nice sharp point at the tip that does all the work. You have all the normie in the middle, and then at the end you have this just. But I guess you need all the parts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but see, and this all ties into what we want to talk about today, which is Antarctica, which is famous for a lot of whole bunch of mythologies, theories, hypotheses, arguments, debates, comparative studies, discussions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Broken friendships because somebody believes
So
in
why
God.
don't right? So why don't we talk about the actual enigma of Atlantis rather than trying to solve the problems? Let's why don't we kind of unravel some of the wildest conspiracies? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
From the
sure.
most mundane of conspiracies to the ooh way out there. I mean, why not, right? So I mean,
Tinfoil hats tonight.
Well,
I've
so
got some bullet points because I do my homework as well.
so it's
Like
so
knowledge and advanced technologies. There's an Illuminati connection. There's the underwater mining and resource exploration. They think there's a bunch of nuclear material there. They think there's a giant amount of gold. They think there's giant oil reserves.
Oh,
Cause,
China's there right now.
yada yada. And there's a bunch of government cover-ups and suppression of evidence. So if they're suppressing it and covering it up, we don't even actually know what's happening. So what is the government doing there? And we can just go into some crazy conspiracy theory about that. The New World Order's agenda. Are they trying to defrost it and make it a new piece of land? Are they trying to terraform it by doing, one theory that I heard, or conspiracy theory I heard, was that all this the lines in the sky, the fucking trails, the fucking
the
chemtrails.
chemtrails, yeah.
Yeah, all the chemtrails have been, what it does is they're releasing aluminum metal flakes all over, which is reflecting sun back, and that's bouncing around the world, melting the fucking South Pole. I mean, that's a way crazy out there one, and that's a New World Order one. But I mean, what lengths would you go to have a brand new piece of land on Earth bigger than Australia? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
What lengths
Yeah,
would you go to? I mean, there's
then
no
it would.
people there. There's all the resources are still there. It's like playing an RPG game, and you just uncovered this clouded area. You just made it to this area, and it just became unclouded. But you still have to go into that area to discover it all. It's like it's one of those it's like it'd be like discovering a new planet. It quite literally would be.
I'm not a flat earther, but we got to give them some credit as well because still to this day, people have set out to circumnavigate Antarctica and no one's been able to complete it. So like got to give it
Yeah,
some sort of credit that there's like some type of ice wall. I mean, if no one's ever been able to circumnavigate, then what the hell's going on?
And describe
So
circumnavigate because some people may be hearing this and don't
like
understand what that means.
like sailing
yeah.
all the way around the island,
Mm.
mapping
Yeah,
everything.
take the
What?
globe, turn it on the end. There's Antarctica. Start here and go around it.
Mm.
It's
Yep.
been done. People go to it and leave, and then they go to it and leave, and they go to it and go around it and leave, but they never go around it.
Mm.
And every time they attempt it, it's like a Bermuda Triangle type thing.
Oh, lost ships or planes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Or
because
there's been claims that they've sailed through a crack in the ice that leads to another land. I don't know. They're all conspiracy theories. I
but
mean,
but
like,
So, so to jump on a topic real quick, just to jump on a topic real quick. So I really like the idea of talking about Atlantis and the South Pole. I mean, personally, I've seen a lot of evidence about Atlantis, read a lot of Atlantean books, um, from the original stories from Plato and before to I come to think that it's somewhere on the Western African coast, Northern African coast. That's where I personally, all the evidence that I've seen over the years and the literature I read, for me, puts it there. But
Your shot structure.
it puts it there because, for me, because of its location. Okay, in its celestial location. So, looking at it and then looking at the stars. Okay, so it puts it there. But I've heard an interesting theory about Atlantis and the South Pole, that there may have been pre-Younger Dryas right before the K13 impact event. Right before that happened, there was a soul. I think maybe there was a pole shift, and the Earth kind of just rotated, and it put Atlantis where it would have been in this celestial spot that marks it looking out at the stars. It could have rotated it down to and froze it solid. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that would
well,
literally mean
if it,
Atlantis didn't just disappear and wash into the ocean, because I mean, the stories of it disappearing, just going away, it could, that could be true.
well,
Um,
if that's the case, then
then Atlantis is untouched, or it's
hang,
just
hang on
being.
if that's the case, then the Great Pyramid of Giza wouldn't be exactly where it's at, and being in the exact location of the speed of light in itself.
Yeah, but okay, whenever you hear someone say it's exactly the speed of light, it's exactly the speed of light. By what measurement, what unit? By cubits? By feet? By kilometers? By what? You have these measurements are, because the pyramids are built with the Fibonacci equation. Okay, it's, no matter how you scale it, you're going to be able to take those measurements and get that same light speed. You should be able to get that same light speed, but you can't. It's just an anomaly where they, because if you measure the other pyramids, you don't get the light speed. You measure the grounds, you don't get the light speed. It's just this one in particular measurement. I would approach that with great credulity, when you take those things with a grain of salt. For if only the reason of what measurements is it being taken, that now, because we measure light, the light speed is what, kilometers per hour or miles per hour? Which one is it? That's two different numbers. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I was measuring in cubits and I was in the UK and translating it to meters, it would never match the speed of light. It just wouldn't. But if I was measuring from cubits to feet, or the another measurement by knots or whatever, it's not going to come out to the speed of light. It just, and technically it doesn't. It's just very close, super super close. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but that's just like one of the things that Rebirth is good about is, be careful about finalities and facts, that because that's not a fact. It is super close, and the odds of it being that close are astronomical, but hey, people win the lottery, once a month.
Right. Well, let
I'm
me
looking.
go ahead. Go, Trevor. Go
I'm
ahead.
I'm looking at fullfact.org. This is just a reference.
Mhm.
The coordinates of the Great Pyramid of Giza is 29.9792458 degrees north, which is also the speed of light.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, yeah, that's just, I'm telling you,
No. Speaking,
Fibonacci
because that.
math works like that. Fibonacci math works like that. Something here is going to look the same up here is going to look the same up here. It just does. That's cool.
No, and see, man, you're not the first person that I heard that say that either, and that's why I
Yeah.
like these
Well,
different theories. So,
I'm trying to
but see,
I'm just trying to, my thing wasn't saying what your point was. I'm not discounting or just trying to disprove or
no.
debate.
I'm
What I'm saying is, that in particular fact, I just had to say something. But now we're kind of trailing off on it. So
No. That's
Oh,
good. That's good because we talking
the
yeah,
about
yeah.
speed of light,
Antarctica.
299,792,458 meters per second.
Meters
S-
per
s- s-
second.
Location
s-
of
Meters per second. That's fucking insane.
So let me.
That's fast.
But see, this is good because we're talking about Atlantis and we're talking about Antarctica, not Antarctica. Now, let me make sure I understand this, Crow. You think that the island of Atlantis could be Antarctica, not because it actually sunk underwater, but because it's under snow or
Yeah,
ice?
it's literally it's underwater. It's under
Oh,
a sea of snow.
okay. And Trevor, uh, what is your thoughts? Can you just I just want to make can you say one more time so I can try to understand again because I know I think I understand what you're saying, but I just want you to hear it one more time.
my point is like if Antarctica was in that sweet spot and then the pole shift happened, then the Great Pyramid of Giza wouldn't be in the exact location that it is right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Okay.
pyramid.
So
But
you're basing your point off because of the location of Giza itself because it lines up with the speed of light and where low
Correct.
would okay and okay so okay
I
now
got you.
now
I
yeah
understand what he's saying. I
no
understand
I get it
because
get that now
you've got a square that's on the if you move
when was the
anywhere, that
last pole
square like
shift?
goes off of north. I get you.
No, because this is how I'm thinking. I'm trying to think. Because I'm gonna I'm gonna get to my point. I'm just trying to understand both you guys and see if it's. I'm just trying to see if you guys are saying the same thing and but just having different theories on how it happened. So let me see. So
I'm looking that up right now.
when was the last time? Yeah, when was the last pole shift? That's what we need to find out.
Yeah. Well, approximate the approximate last shifting of the poles. Now,
Yeah, and it
here's my quandrum. Here's my quandrum.
all right.
Okay. Is the Atlantean legend thousands of
It says
years
the last
older
it says the
in the
last reversal occurred 772,000 to 774,000 years ago.
772,000.
now that's the pole switch, but not a pole shift because a pole shift is different. That's just that's just going to cause a wobble just a little bit.
What type in both of
Not
them
the
then?
poles don't completely reverse, but they
So
will
so
wobble.
so you said his was a pole what? A pole shift?
A pole flip.
Okay.
Oh, you want the pole
Pole,
flip? Okay.
when
Hang
was the
on.
the,
last
Never mind.
no,
Sorry.
the last time it was just a pole shift, which
Okay,
was just a shift.
so what should we put in? When was the last?
I don't
Okay.
know, but I don't know
All
what.
right. I found an article. It's pretty much the same thing that I read a second ago, but hang on. It's at europa.eu.
So here's my quandrum for you, Trevor. So hear
Oh,
me out now,
pole
okay?
reversal. Yeah, they do have a flip and reversal. Dang.
Yes, that's
Oh,
on.
and
There's different things.
okay. The that
There's a
one
shift.
the reversal is 780,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Now,
So my thing is also we have land displacement and crust movement as well. So what if this piece of land actually broke off and drifted into the position that it's in now, and all the other land masses were still there? Do you see my? I mean, there's a couple of ways that Atlantis could have been in the position that I believe that it was originally in by Plato's account in the area and the region that it was in.
so
And I
you
think that
think it's
maybe
Antarctica, right?
it somehow shifted. Yes, that the island didn't sink. It actually disappeared into the ocean. But I think what happened is it is slowly over time, over generations and generations, the landmass got further and further away, and it literally looked like it was sinking into the ocean. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you guys what I know because I think you
Just
guys are on the
that's just a
same page.
thought, a
No,
theory.
I think y'all both on the same page because the last post shift, flip, and reversal is around the same time from what I see, about 700 some odd thousand years ago. Now, when do you think the pyramid of Giza was built?
I personally think it was built. I have a very large range because, I don't like to give myself this finality of like from here to here. So I mean, I say minimum to me personally, minimum 12,800 years ago, pre Younger Dryas, up to there, to approximately maybe 30 to 32,000 years. I've heard way more than that, 50s, hundreds, but I think the 30,000, 32,000 year really fits in with a lot of things that seem to line up in order for that particular monument to be built then.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, I don't know, was Atlantis pre pyramids? And if like, what if Atlantis was the the builders of the pyramids, ancient pyramid? If I'm saying, hey, the pyramid's 8,000 years old, or 10,000 years old, or 15,000 years old, what if back then those people at the pyramids that were building it were saying, hey, Atlantis is 8,000 years old, 10,000 years old, 15,000 years old? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put it into context, like, what we see now and look back as ancient. What about those people? What did they look back and see as ancient? And could some of those stories have progressed through time through the verbal um, lineage of storytelling? I mean,
I know.
I don't know. Very
I got
speculative, but
some.
I do have ideas more on Atlantis, and I mean the South Pole, Antarctica. Go ahead, Trev.
Listen to
Sorry.
this. The last reversal occurred between 772,000 and 774,000 years ago. Since then, the field has almost reversed 15 times and called it an excursion, dropping in strength
Excursion
significantly, but not quite reaching the threshold needed before rising again.
before
This is
before it
when we are
flips.
most at risk. As the field decays and then recovers its strength, the last excursion occurred 40,000 years ago, and evidence suggests we're heading in that direction again. The
Damn, what
geomagnetic
I say?
field, hang on, the geomagnetic field has been losing 30% of its intensity in the last 3,000 years, said Dr. Tuveni or Tuveni. But
There,
from
Spell it
this
out.
value,
Spell it out. Spell it out. Spell it out. Because I want to look it
yeah,
up.
Dr. Thouvenny.
Okay.
Then it continues, from this value, we predict it will drop near zero in a few centuries or a millennia.
no, there has to be a caveat to that, and it's near zero to where they're measuring. Okay. So if you ever look at any magnetic field, it's a big bubble up top, and it goes down, it goes through the middle, and then it comes back out of the bottom, right? And it circles back on itself like an infinity symbol. It
Mm-hmm.
goes like this. That's the magnetic field. Now, in that waistband, if you take measurements there, it fluctuates greatly. It goes in and out and in and out. If you go up on the very top and take a measurement there where it hardly ever moves, the magnetic field hardly ever moves because it wants to squeeze and go up and down. So you got movement this way rather than a flex. So the measurements are very difficult and um, unreliable. It's like it's like an earthquake meter. It's going to tell you when it happens, but you're not going to be able to forecast with it.
So
You just can't.
let me ask you this then.
No, it's like you're trying to squish two powerful magnets together like the opposite ends of the magnet, and
The,
then it's just going to
yeah.
split right off.
Yes, and that's what happens. But when you're actually applying force to the magnets, what you're doing is you're actually squeezing that magnetic field down. So
You're expanding the field.
that waistband is getting thinner, and that point gets stronger, and that's why it starts to wobble and starts to do this with magnets, is because your magnetic field is
Mm-hmm.
getting tight in the middle, and then that's why when it folds, when that point folds, the magnetic field folds, one of them will flip and they'll smack together. It's a there's so much spring in a magnetic force. But anyway, go ahead. I'm so chatty. Sorry, guys.
No, man. No, don't worry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I ain't tripping. I'll get in when I get in. Go ahead,
So
Trevor.
check this out. Oh, go ahead, Trev. I'm reading a bunch of stuff here.
I got nothing. That was it. That was just my backup for what I was saying.
All right, and I'll jump in. So,
Yeah, go for it.
um,
Mhm.
let me ask you both, and we can just keep it short because I just want to make sure I understand. So, from what you both understand, from what you both heard, and what we just did with our minimal research, and I'm not talking about research that took 2 hours to do, just something to look in and just based off what
Tidbit.
somebody that says that they're a professional in that field and gives their honest opinion, right? Do you think that both your theories probably line up with each other? Just that because of the way, well, for one, there's a lot of argument is going to bother some people whether the earth is round or flat. That's going through some people's mind right now. And as soon as they can
Another debate for another time.
yeah, so that's why I'm bringing this up for a reason, because do you think that Atlantis and Antarctica is the same place? Do you guys both believe that?
Well, I don't think that. Let me correct this because there should be a caveat there. I think Atlantis maybe. I personally I don't believe it, but I think there is strong evidence that points that Atlantis may be on Antarctica
Okay, that's
or
you know what
you know up
that's
archipelago of it.
I'm gonna
It's not
start.
actually the island of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna start using that, the strongest evidence that I've found, because that's what I agree to. The strongest
Yeah.
evidence that I found, just based off the little stuff that I have right
I just
now.
leveled up, bro.
Right. I'm getting that money, man, making that coin. I believe that Atlantis wasn't just one fixed to one place. I believe that there was multiple cities of Atlantis.
Okay, all right, and
Ooh.
okay, so all right, so y'all both, so okay, so one of the one thing that I like to do, and it's gonna be like a teaching point because I love doing this.
And let me add to that.
I
Like I think it was just one location that was the main hub.
Right.
There was that
Yeah.
one main hub, but I believe
Right,
that
just like
Atlantis
just like
was
the
So there
United
was a
States of,
hub and then ports,
yeah,
a
like
hub and then
just like
ports,
how
yeah,
in America we
port of
have
call.
embassies everywhere and vice versa for other countries.
yep,
And
like sister cities.
those embassies are actually considered your land from the country that you represent. So when they have an embassy, and from what I understand, at least I could be wrong, I don't know, but that's from what I understand. But one of the things that I like to do is, because we all just said that we like to go to facts, right? Let's go to the original source of where the idea of Atlantis came from. And the earliest, most credible sources that we have that actually mentions anything about Atlantis comes from Plato. And he has two books, Timaeus, and the other one is Critias. That's how you say it,
That's
Critias.
great.
So he has two books. So for the Timaeus one, so this is what I like to do. What on my phone, on any computer, right? You can hit Control F, and it'll come up a little box where you can search any word without having to read the whole text. Even if you read the whole book, you just want a quick reference of something, you hit Control F on your computer, and a little box come out. If you have an iPhone, you hit the three dots on the bottom right, it'll say like finding page in there, and you can type Atlantis. I don't know how to do it in Android, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. If not, you can just Google how to
Yeah,
It's
I
very
think it's
find it.
about
similar.
the same.
Very similar.
Yeah,
Similar.
so
Yeah.
I hit Atlantis, right? And the first thing that it says about Atlantis, and this is from the version from, let me go back to the top. This goes by the translated by Benjamin Jowett in 1871.
1871.
Yep, 1871. It's translated. And this is what he says. He says, now in this island of Atlantis, there was a great and wonderful empire which had ruled over the whole island and several others, which Trevor, you talked about,
Sure.
and over parts of the continent. And furthermore, the men of Atlantis had subjected the parts of Libya within the columns of Heracles as far as Egypt and of
Hercules.
Europe. Huh?
Hercules. Sorry,
Heracles.
bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, Heracles. As far as Egypt, I when I
As
first
far as Egypt.
yeah. So
So it's putting it outside of the Mediterranean. It's putting it outside of the Mediterranean. So if you so geographically, if you look at Egypt, in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is a sea that comes to an end. Okay, at the end of the sea is Egypt on the bottom right hand corner.
mhm,
If you were to travel the coastline
mhm,
down the coast through the Straits of Gibraltar, through the Mediterranean Sea, around the African coast, and you went down the African coast. So this is my point. Where I think that Atlantis is located, that on the southern or on the east or western coast of Africa, it would be a long journey up this African coast and around all the way to Egypt, as far away as Egypt. Do you see my logic in that? And there's a couple of
You're
other
talking
things
about the
too.
Rashad structure, right?
Yeah,
You're
Rashad
talking about
structure.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
What
no,
year did you say that guy wrote that book, or he's writing this article? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're
Was
fine.
he 18 or 17 something?
1871, translated
Eight-
by Benjamin Jowett. Can you
Benjamin
see my
Joey.
screen? Can you see my screen?
Hold on. I can now, yeah. Hold on, just let me grab a screenshot real quick. Nice. Stop moving it around.
And dude,
Chasing
ancient
it.
Greek, like the alphabet is so weird. Just learning it.
No, but
Nice.
no problem. The reason why I brought that up is because that's all it says. That's the first description of
Very
Atlantis.
so that's the very first
Yeah,
description of Atlantis.
I'm getting
Yeah,
rich
Okay.
again.
I mean, I've
yeah.
read that before actually several times, but now that I'm kind of really having to think about it.
And then the last thing it says about Atlantis in this book, or in this version, I should say, it says, of course, but afterwards there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis is like manner disappeared in depths of the sea. So a violent um, eruption from the crust could have happened by accident.
Well, so there's a theory that says there was a gigantic lake in Africa
Mm-hmm.
that was left after the Younger Dryas, the snow melt coming down into Africa, and it pooled up in the Saharas and I mean, yeah, and the big plains and flatlands that all used to be lake, a giant lake, and that on the west coast of Africa, sometime around 30 to 40,000 years ago,
uh,
it broke loose. The land gave free, and all that water rushed out and out across, and then right out to the ocean. Um, and it would have taken weeks for this water to run out, and it would have been instantaneously a devastating thing. It would have made the ground shake. With the water, the weight of the water rushing across the land could have easily caused earthquakes. Um, the rumbling, the noise, it would have sounded like war. The animals running and things like that. And then when the water hits, it would literally, like a power washer, would literally erase anything on the land there and wash it away. So somebody traveling could could one day have been in Atlantis, just speculation, in Atlantis, go do his trade route and come back, and Atlantis is completely gone. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, completely gone, just washed away, nothing there. You know what I mean? That could be a story of the ages. That story could have been 5, 6, 800 years old, 2,000 years old before it, was written down.
no, and I'm gonna
And I
get to
can't remember the name of that event. So let me actually, I'm going to go ahead and jump on here real quick. So go ahead and
Trevor, you want to say anything
That
real
way I
quick?
have a for the listeners.
No, I'm good.
All right, yeah. All right. So what I was gonna say is that that gives me perfect opportunity to talk about the Cretaceous one. I think I'm saying that right. I just read it how I see it, I guess.
Sure,
And
that's fine.
it's a translation by Benjamin Jowett, the same one as the other one that I just said. And this one was in 1871. And there's four things mentioned about Atlantis in here. And the first thing is mentioned. It says, let me find it. Find the starting point. Of the combatants on the one side, the city of Athens was reported to have been the leader and to have fought out the war. The combatants on the other side were commanded by the kings of Atlantis, which, as was saying, was an island greater in extent than Libya and Asia, and when afterwards sunk by an earthquake became an impassable barrier. Remember, you mentioned that earlier. One of y'all mentioned that earlier of mud to voyagers sailing from hence to any part of the ocean. Now we just discussed all that, right? It's just y'all based off y'all from based off what y'all interpretation. We literally mentioned that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was literally mentioned. So the second one was uh let me start a finding point. And Poison and Poseidon receiving for his lot the island of Atlantis begat children by immortal women and settled them in part of the island which I have will describe. That's the second one. That doesn't give you really any clue of where the hell Atlantis is at. Oh, let me go back. I hit it too many times. All right. The third one is oh, I did that. I did that one already?
I did that, fool. What you talking about?
Okay,
Stupid
yeah,
technology.
no, I see what it's doing now. Okay, so here's the other one. He also begat and brought up 5 pairs of twin male children, and dividing the island of Atlantis into 10 portions, he gave to the firstborn of the eldest pair his mother dwelling and the surrounding allotment, which was the largest and best, and made him king over the rest. The others he made princes and gave them rule over many men in a large territory. That's that one. And the last one is such was the vast power which the gods settled in the lost island of Atlantis. God is in lowercase. Yeah, I see
Can you
it.
see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so it's his name is Brad Yoon, Bradyoon,
Uh-huh.
and his theory is that the Great Flood, Noah's Great Flood, and the flood that wiped Atlantis were one and the same. And it's that same flood that I was talking about that happened in Africa that deluged the whole whole country, a few countries, not
Like the epic,
continents.
like the epic of Gilgamesh.
But see,
Gilgamesh, yeah,
but see,
Giglim.
this is the thing. This is coming from a Greek, okay? Somebody that obviously wasn't there.
Yeah,
So obviously the traditional oral story was passed from people for many of the years, right? And I say that because Solon, I believe, he was born in 630 BC, and that's where they say that who gave Plato the information. Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna edit everything out, like the beginning stuff, and then the crap that we get off topic. That's like we just don't want really. We all don't really want on there. Like it
yeah,
is,
I got you.
and then it's just going to get easier because, like I said, I'm learning it now. I'm learning this program now. I pay like 100 and some bucks every year just to use it. And I if you watch my beginning videos, I didn't it does they don't really look like that. I mean, they look good, but they're not like that now. Like I feel like my
Yeah,
now it's like
they're washed out because
No, and this and I'm gonna get into that too because, like I said, Plato is not actually the first person that knew about Atlantis. There was other individuals. They just give Plato the
Yes, that he got his knowledge from. Yeah,
yeah
the story that he heard.
yeah. So we always have to go to the origins, and there's really no records that I can that I've read personally that actually says anything other than what could be interpreted by what Plato may have interpreted. I mean, there is talk about island and this and that, but
Well,
it's
here it's this right here. It says the whole region rose sheer out of the sea to a great height, but the part about the city was all a smooth plain enclosing it around about, and being itself encircled by mountains which stretched as far as the sea. And this plain had a level surface and was as whole rectangular in shape, being 3,000 strades long, about 350 miles on either side, and 350 miles or 250 miles wide, reckoning upwards from the sea. And at this region, all along the island faced toward the south and was sheltered from the northern blasts. And the mountains which surrounded it celebrated all surpassing all that now exist in number, magnitude, and beauty. So he's saying that the mountains there were higher than Mount Everest. He's saying they stretched longer around than the ocean itself, and that the island itself, the buildings were very plain and smooth, very unassuming, not grandeur at all. They were like mud huts, not mud huts, but like stucco. You know what I mean? Like that's how I'm picturing in my head when he says smooth and plain. So, what region? I mean,
Yeah, I'm
it
thinking
sounds
the same
African to
thing
me,
that
dude. It
you're
sounds
thinking right
African
now, Great
coast.
Earth.
It's kind of in insert now. Get from one edge of the island to the other edge of the island and see how far that is.
yeah, it's about 216.
That's the region that I think. I don't know which one of them islands are. Or you see how you can see the topographical and the floor, the sea floor mapping.
Mhm.
But you see all these other islands that aren't poking up out of the top and they're under the water.
Yeah. Oh, these right
Yeah.
here, right here, and
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one for you. Possible location for Atlantis. All right. Scroll out and go between go over to Australia and go start going out toward the right of go toward the east, I guess.
So let it take a
Okay,
minute.
so now we want to go, yeah, keep going to the right. Keep scrolling out to the right.
Are you going over to the Great Barrier Reef?
No, 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 not keep going. Try to zoom out a little bit so you can get Hawaii. No, no, no. I want to
Hawaii.
see the whole Pacific Ocean. Yeah, see over there by Samoa, Tonga, New South Pacific. Yeah, go toward where it says South Pacific. All the way bottom right, South Pacific Ocean. Keep going, keep going. You're gonna have to zoom in a little bit. Wait, Saratoga, Chile. Keep going though a little bit. I think you got to roll up. I think you're going toward. Yeah, you're too far down. Okay, now roll back over to the left. Okay, French
There
Polynesia,
we go.
Cook Island.
Right
Okay,
here.
so there's Honolulu. Keep going to the left. It's between Honolulu and start go in the middle of go to your left. But yeah, with your cursor a little more to the left. See, there's a long string of like dots that go from the upper left corner down to the middle bottom. Yeah, start zooming in there. You can see I'm looking for the Marshall Islands. See, there's Johnson Atoll. Yeah, you're close. Ooh, I think that's it. Right? I think you landed right on it. Keep scrolling to where it says Johnston Atoll. No, that's Hawaii. That's way too close. You got to go way to the left. And you're looking for Marshall Islands.
Oh, right here.
Down there, yeah, right there. There you go. Now keep going in on there. See, these are all islands in the middle of the fucking Pacific Ocean. the middle. So I mean, what's the best like hub that you could have? Now you're looking for quadrilene. Keep going in. Yeah, no, it's the yeah. Oh, you're looking for the quadrilene atoll. It's going to be to the left.
Is it gonna be on this island though?
No, 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 no. You got to zoom out.
Uh,
You're because there's too many islands. You just zoomed in on the wrong one. It's quadrilene. It's called Kwajalein Atoll.
okay.
It's in the Marshall Islands, so you kind of got to search around for it a little bit.
I'll be right back, gentlemen.
All right.
So yeah, go right where it says Marshall Islands on the word where it says Marshall Island.
Go all the way on there.
Yeah, and zoom in. Yeah,
I hate when it does that.
that's
Oh
Ala.
yeah, yeah.
No, that's the wrong one. Okay, so it's gonna be KWAJ
Hold on, hold on,
EILEIN.
hold on.
Kwajalein
K W A G.
J.
Oh, okay.
No
I see
J.
it. I see it. J
Kwajalein.
J.
Kwajalein Atoll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
here we
should
go.
have
I
should have
got
did
it.
that at
Here we
first.
go. Yeah, you should have just told me that. Yeah, right here.
Oh, we were two islands off. Look, now scroll out from there a little bit. Do you see the Air Force base right there? But scroll out a little bit.
So we talked about Solon. We talked about Plato and how Atlantis was possibly in different locations, but